Go.
Welcome to the Art of Evolution. We are here to inspire conversations, give helpful tips on how to unapologetically evolve in all areas of your life. The Art of Evolution's goal is to help keep you balanced and inspired, to heal from the outside in, and I am actually from the inside out, and I am your host, Cassandra Tucker. Today we have on the show Miss Raven. Miss Raven is an awesome radio personality, and we're so grateful to have her here with us. And so we're going to just jump right in. I mean, Raven, you're just like this amazing person, and I know that you've been through some things with your mom. And, you know, typically through our pain, there's something that we come up with. And so yours has been radio, which I also know that it is your passion. So I'll start with my first question. What or who inspires you?
What and who inspired me? Well, you know, no doubt, my mother, who's no longer alive, she inspired me. Her strength, her endurance, her courage, and just always, no matter what pain she was feeling emotionally, she always was in good spirits, and she always was in what I call her power, meaning, you know, she wasn't going to let anybody take her to where she felt lesser than. Even if she did feel lesser than, nobody would know it on the surface. And that's really helped me push past my pain to my power so that I can, you know, be more purposeful on what my intentions are and on my life. And I've found myself many times like my mom, you know, where I hid the pain. Would have to say I needed to learn how to balance that, because I don't believe we need to hide our pain. Believe we need to find some time to feel what we're feeling. But no doubt, you know, her strength and endurance gave me strength and helped me become unstoppable along my journey.
Wow. Yeah, moms have a very special place. I mean, they truly are examples, which leads me into the very next question, which ties directly into what we were just talking about as far as pain is concerned. Can you talk about an area of your life that you have evolved from unapologetically, that place that, you know, no matter what people think, you have just decided to go forward and do what you need to do for you?
Oh man, that's a great question. I've never been asked that before, so kudos on you for asking such a defined question. And the reason I say that is because there's been many times that I felt that way. But I would say now that I'm in my midlife, I'm 67 years old now, and I started making the transition from radio to web TV videos back in the Blab days. So I guess that was like 2015, 2016. And that was a huge transition for me. I mean, obviously, as we get older, you know, we still have our vanity, but we're not as confident as before, you know, because you start seeing the lines in your face, gaining weight, and, you know, you're totally looking different. Or in my case, I was totally looking different from the Raven that did modeling back in the day and you know, and was, you know, had my thing going on. So that was a big step for me, and I remember this so clearly, Cassandra. I remember my very first time being on Periscope Live, and I couldn't even figure out how to flip the camera the other way so it could be on me. And I was talking to people on Periscope, and someone put in the notes, we can't see you. You got to flip the camera. You got to flip the camera. And so I was like, oh, wow, they're excited to see me. They're liking this thing. Okay. So I flipped the camera, and they said, ugh, you're ugly. And that was...
Are you serious?
I'm very serious, Cassandra. That was so painful. I remember being getting off of there, closing out that Periscope as quickly as possible. And I was in bed curled up like a baby for days. I never wanted to show my face, whatever again. And my husband, colleague, he talked to me, he said, babe, look, you can't let one person tear you down. You're beautiful. He did me the pump up talk and stuff. You know, you're going to inspire so many women on your age that are feeling just like you. Don't let that one person. And, you know, it took me a while. You know, what I did is I started studying people that were on there, studying, you know, how they, got people to engage, and I really just started to master it as much as I could. And my husband said this one thing that's so powerful, Cassandra. He said, babe, you got to take the focus off yourself. You're focusing on you too much, and focus on your message and making sure it gets to the right people in a way that they can receive it the way you want to. Don't focus on you. Focus on the listeners. Focus on the viewers. You're putting too much focus on yourself. So now I unapologetically get out there. Yeah.
That was a story. I'm over here crying. Literally, I'm crying.
Oh.
And so, yeah, wow. And so with that being said, I'm telling you, it's flowing so well, and it's almost like you're a mind reader, almost. And so it goes once again with that situation. How do you now deal with fear, having dealt with such a tumultuous and traumatic situation? How do you deal with fear now?
You know, I've learned to face it, just to face it head on. One of the things I love, and that you'll begin to really love about what you do, Cassandra, is I love interviewing, because interviewing has been my therapy. So now when I have something that I'm fearful of, I look to see who I can interview that's a master of that, that's a counselor on that, or an expert on that. And I write down the questions I want to ask them, and I interview them. And then I go back and listen to the interview. So I always tell people, interviewing for me has been my therapy. I face my fear head on by finding someone that's an expert, someone that's a consultant, someone that's a trusted authority. I list my questions, I answer, I interview them to get the answer, and then I do what they tell me to do. I do what they suggest and recommend, and that's helped me to face many of my fears. My last husband, he left me after 13 years. I mean, literally, and you know, this is really crushing to me. We literally made love, cuddled and everything that morning, and when I came out of the bathroom and I was starting to cook breakfast, he sat on the bed and he said, you need to come in here. And he told me he was leaving. And that was the most painful thing. I mean, literally, we just made love. And he's going to tell me 10 minutes later he's leaving and packing while he's gone. Didn't leave me no money or anything. Oh my God. And I had just turned 60, and I'm like, oh my God, he's leaving. He didn't give me no warning. He didn't leave any money. I'm 60. Nobody's ever going to want to marry me again. I'm going to be the rest of my life. All these things. And so what I learned is you put fear into yourself, allowing that stinking thinking to mess with your head. So again, interviews was my therapy. I remember talking to Diana Nightingale, who's a dear friend, and she was married to the late, great Earl Nightingale. And so she's still alive, because when they got married, she was 30 years younger than him. And I called her, and she said, Raven, sounds like you need to go listen to your own show, Women Power. You need to go back and listen to the interview you did of me, the interview you did of Lisa Nichols, and all these great people you interview. Go back and listen to your own stuff and get past your pain. Don't let that man ruin your life. You got work to do. That's how I face my fears.
Well, no wonder why you're such a strong woman. You endured a lot. My goodness. I mean, I couldn't imagine. I really couldn't. I mean, I personally have been through some things, but I could not imagine those things. But, you know, they have this saying, what doesn't kill us only make us stronger.
Oh, yeah. I think they got a song on that, too. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it does make us stronger because, I mean, you know, they always say that God is not going to give us no more than we can endure, you know, and I look at other people and say, wow, I don't know if I have the strength to do some of the things that I hear people to talk about, you know. So I guess in short, you know, for the listeners and your viewers, Cassandra, I would say, you know, that the thing that my husband told me, I want to pass on to them. And that is, when you find that you're fearful, when you find you're procrastinating, when you find that stinking thinking, that little devil is on your shoulder and is giving you all that negative stuff, get past you. Take a step back, because what's happening is you're focusing too much on you. And Zig Ziglar said it best. The late great Zig Ziglar said, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want without expecting it. And so that's why I say I believe, you know, the message my husband gave me has really helped me push past my pain, because now I try not to focus so much on my pain. If it happens to me, I try to find out who can help me through the pain. And then I move on to see how I can take the lessons that I learned, the good, bad, and ugly of my journey, and pass it on to others. Sometimes I'll just jump out there and do a quick 5-minute or 8-minute Facebook Live and say, look, this is what's going on. This is what happened, you know, and I just felt the need to come out and share this because I feel like somebody else needs to know this message, you know. So I love technology nowadays and all the things that it gives us, because it gives us a chance to take our message and spread it wide. There's no FCC license holding us. There's nobody that says we can't do it or say it. We just have to push past our pain, past our fears, by getting out there and doing, like Zig Ziglar said, help enough people. Stay focused on them, help them to get through their pain. And without expecting it, we'll find that things will get lighter for us.
Wow. So we're almost close to the end of our time together. It has been so enjoyable. And before we close out the show, is there a quote, a favorite quote or a book that you would like to share with our listeners that you feel that it could help them evolve unapologetically?
Absolutely. I love this quote by Jerry Rice, and he says, I will do today what others won't, so I can live my life tomorrow like others can't. And the reason I love that quote is because it's basically saying, if you get out there and you miss a few dinners, you miss a few going to the baseball games or the soccer games with your kids, you miss the going on a date night with your husband, and you really throw yourself into your work, into what you feel your purpose is, and just do the thing to have the power, do the thing that you need to do, that later on in life, when you need it the most, what you put in today will be there working for you. And I love that quote. So keep on doing what you're doing and do it better. Miss the dinners, you know, stay up late at night, get up early in the morning, and do what it takes for you to do it now. You know, do that for the next 3-6 years, and you'll be set when you need the most. And, you know, I'm 67, like I said, so I don't want to work as hard in my 70s and 75 and 80s and on. So what I have to do today, what others won't, Cassandra, so I can live my life tomorrow like others can't, and live it in style, baby. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love it. Raven, thank you. It has been such a pleasure having you on this show. Hopefully you found your time with us very enjoyable, and hopefully you'll come back and talk to us again. Thank you so much for all of your wisdom and your insight.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Back to you, Cassandra.
Thank you, guys. This is Cassandra with The Art of Evolution, and we are signing out. We'll see you next week. Thank you.